Hello everyone, welcome back to our weekly market analysis video with me, Frankie, your market analyst at Markets4U. In today's video, we'll be looking at the key economic events and data releases from January 19th to January 23rd, 2026. I've already set up my screen to display the economic calendar from the traders room at Markets4U. I've set the dates from January 19th to January 23rd, covering this week's important events in GMT. Please remember to adjust to your respective time zones. Let's dive into this week's events. Monday starts with Canadian inflation data including both headline and core inflation rates. Tuesday brings UK employment figures including employment change and unemployment rate, German PPI data, and German ZEW Economic Sentiment Index. Wednesday features UK inflation data including both headline and core inflation rates, Canadian PPI figures, and Japanese trade balance data including exports and imports. Thursday includes Australian employment figures, US initial jobless claims, US GDP growth rate final estimate for Q3, US core PCE price index, the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, New Zealand inflation data, Australian PMI flash readings, and Japanese inflation figures. Friday concludes with a major day featuring Japanese PMI flash data, the Bank of Japan interest rate decision, UK retail sales, German and UK PMI readings, Canadian retail sales, and US PMI flash data. This week's key market moving events will be UK inflation data on Wednesday, US core PCE price index on Thursday, New Zealand inflation data on Thursday, and the Bank of Japan interest rate decision on Friday. These releases should create significant opportunities across major pairs. Now, let's go to the technical analysis. This week, we'll focus on the British pound against the US dollar and the US dollar against the Japanese yen, as both instruments face critical economic data and central bank decisions. Let's start with the British pound against the US dollar. Looking at the daily chart, the pound-dollar pair is currently trading around 1.3377, showing continued bearish pressure. The price is moving lower, breaking the 20-day moving average from above after a week of consolidating around this key level. The stochastic oscillator is consolidating near the oversold area but is still moving lower toward oversold territory, indicating persistent selling pressure. Looking at important levels, the British pound against the US dollar has support at 1.3245 and 1.3123, while resistance can be found at 1.3538 and 1.3661. Wednesday's UK inflation data will be crucial for this pair. The inflation figures are expected to show a year-over-year rate of 3.1%, down from 3.2%, with a monthly increase of 0.2%. The break below the 20-day moving average after consolidation is a significant bearish signal. The pair is likely to test the 1.3245 support level in the coming sessions. If Wednesday's UK inflation data disappoints and comes in lower than expected, it could accelerate the downside movement toward 1.3123. However, with the stochastic already near oversold, traders should watch for potential short-term bounces, especially around key support levels. Now, let's turn to the US dollar against the Japanese yen. On the daily chart, the dollar-yen pair is currently trading around 158.14, showing signs of consolidation after recent gains. The price is consolidating above the 20-day moving average, which continues to act as dynamic support. The stochastic oscillator is moving lower and has just exited the overbought area, suggesting a healthy pullback within the uptrend. Looking at key levels, the US dollar against the Japanese yen has support at 156.85 and 155.88, while resistance stands at 159.07 and 160.09. Friday's Bank of Japan interest rate decision will be the most crucial event for this pair. The BOJ is expected to hold rates steady at 0.75%. The consolidation above the 20-day moving average is a positive sign for dollar bulls, as it suggests the uptrend remains intact. The stochastic exiting the overbought area indicates potential for renewed buying pressure after this consolidation phase. Thursday's Japanese inflation data will be closely watched ahead of Friday's BOJ decision. If the BOJ maintains its cautious stance and the inflation data shows cooling pressures, the pair could break above the 159.07 resistance and target 160.09. Both instruments could see considerable volatility this week. Traders should be particularly cautious during Wednesday's UK inflation release, Thursday's US core PCE and New Zealand inflation data, and Friday's BOJ decision, as these events can cause sudden spikes in volatility and potential gap risks. Remember, always manage your risk carefully and never invest more than you can afford to lose. That's it for this week's analysis. See you in the next video.